Hello, welcome to the Bad Batch watch along for episode number six.
Five.
Five. We're on five. We're on five. I can't count. It's okay. How are you guys doing tonight, this morning, whatever it is? I don't know anymore.
Well, what is it today for me and Josh, and tomorrow for Caitlin?
Yep. Yep. It's about right.
Yeah. Well, it'll only be today for what, 19 more minutes?
Yeah, about that. So how was your week? How was everything?
Good. I had a fun day today. Little inside story between me and Caitlin. Maybe I'll talk about that next week or something. But
I enjoy creating situations in which Richard panics, and then
you should see it's all connected.
Yeah, it's pretty much that show is how can I mess with Richard and Bryce, and I just rolled that over into a real life situation. That's fine.
Which was awesome. I absolutely
I feel like
it.
that is just like the basis for a good show.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much. Good thing I'm used to being on that end of it, so I know what's coming.
To be fair, this time it was an accident, so
yes,
responsibility for it.
I say I don't actually blame you this time around.
That's not fair. Not fun. I don't know. Yeah. Been a long day for me. We were talking about this very, very briefly off camera, off live, off show, whatever you want to call it. I myself and our producer Shay a couple of weeks ago picked up new computers, which are really hard to come by right now because of shortages with GPUs because of COVID and scalpers and crypto miners and all this kind of stuff. So the moment we saw them in stock at Best Buy, we were like, okay, don't care what brand this is, it's got the GPU that we want, so we're gonna buy it. So we got it. And it turned out to be less than stellar. So we'd been fighting with them for the past couple of weeks, trying to get the parts together to just build one from scratch. And the past couple of days, it just turned into a nightmare of trying just to get the graphics card. So last night, 2 a.m., we drove out about an hour away to a micro center because there's not one in the LA area, and proceeded to treat it like Hall H, waiting for them to open and register us to get it, which we finally did, and then we spent the rest of the day building the computers. I'm almost done with mine. It's together. Let me see if I can turn my camera a little bit here. I can't see what you guys see on me for some reason.
Okay.
Let's see. There we go. You can see my monitor. Yeah, no, it's being hidden by the monitor.
Okay.
But I'll take some pictures of it and post it online. But I need to go in there and like neatly put the cables away and twist tie them and make them not like all over the place. Because it's a mess.
By the way, what's up, Tester and Donnie? Thanks for joining us again.
But that's my life, is just a whole mess. So it works. See, my phone's on too. So
I hear that.
So what are you guys expecting from tonight's episode? Last week, we had what we all kind of considered a bit of a filler. We didn't really get a huge boost in the overall storyline. So what do you guys think we're gonna see?
Well, we know for sure that they're chasing Omega. That's kind of the big storyline aspect that we got from last week. I'm hoping that we get some like mercenary work where they're like, okay, we got to get some cash. Let's figure out how to do that. So I want to see that. I'd like to see some more Omega weirdness, because last couple episodes it was less of like, okay, there's something like going on with her, and it was more of like, okay, it's Omega trying to kind of figure out her place in this group or survive. So I want to see some more of the weirdness that we saw in the first like 2 episodes. And always more Empire stuff. I love the world building.
Yeah, I just seeing because again, this is new for me. This time period is new for me because I did not watch Clone Wars or Rebels, so this is like my first introduction to all of this. So seeing the Empire and the rebellion in these super early stages is really interesting. Just as far as just the opening days and like now just the random political stuff is fun.
Yeah.
Even though that was one of my least favorite things about like Attack of the Clones was just like I felt like I was watching CNN and Star Wars.
Sitting and talking.
But this they're doing a good job of, I think, keeping it balanced, so I don't necessarily mind it so much, and it's interesting because it, like you said, it's world building, and we're finally learning, or I'm finally learning where everything sits. So Richard, what about you? What are you expecting to see tonight?
Well, kind of along the lines of what Caitlin said, like hopefully some mercenary work, hopefully some actually like plot moving forward in this episode. 'Cause, I mean, we've gotten, well, the first episode was awesome, and the last three have mostly just been kind of like a mix between filler and kind of fun stuff. I mean, obviously we got Fennec last week, that was awesome. As someone who hasn't caught up on all the Star Wars stuff, she was awesome, as awesome as I expected her to be. I don't know if she'll come back this coming episode or later in the season, but I'm expecting to see more of her at some point. But yeah, hopefully just some more missions for the group, and hopefully like them figuring out how they're gonna survive in this world
and working as a team more, because they've kind of felt out of sync since the Order 66.
Yeah, you've been saying for the past 4 episodes that you kind of felt like Tech was a little out of place, that his personality didn't necessarily line up with what you knew of him from the Clone Wars.
He was he's been kind of like a jerk and keeping stuff to himself. And I mean, he's always been a little more like not as emotionally
invested.
I didn't even know if it's invested, but like his emotional quotient or like EQ is lower than everyone else, which isn't weird for people with a high IQ. But like we saw him trying to build that scanner to check for the chips versus fixing the ship. So things like that, or just keeping things to himself and then kind of being like, well, yeah, I already figured that out. I just didn't say anything. It was kind of that moment of, okay, you should have. Like every time they've basically been like, why wouldn't you say anything about that? So I'm hoping for a little bit of explanation about that, or even just having it be where he checks, he makes sure the chips aren't affecting them, and then is a little bit less, I guess, secretive.
He has a knack for pissing everybody off right now. Like, just with the way he's being.
Yeah, and he definitely wasn't like that in like the Bad Batch's arc in Clone Wars, and even at the beginning of pilot for Bad Batch, he didn't really have that. He had the whole, well, the Clone War is ending, but he told them immediately. He didn't really keep it to himself.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like he's, I don't know if sidetracked is the right word, but it feels like he may be dealing with the whole thing with Crosshair a little bit differently than everyone else.
Distracted, maybe.
Distracted. Or maybe worried that whatever is keeping Crosshair loyal to the Empire and an asshole is going to maybe one day catch up with him, and that the chip is going to like suddenly maybe reactivate, and that he's going to go bonkers and attack the people that he actually cares about.
It's like he doesn't trust that it's not active for them, even though it hasn't really done anything to them. Yeah, that's a good point.
Where are we at with Rex? Or Wrecker. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Rex. I don't know if that's because I think it's because I started playing Mass Effect again, and the Krogan character, the main Krogan character in Mass Effect that's his name, and the other guy in the show is Rex, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to Rex showing up.
Yeah, we haven't seen him yet, but he's been in the trailers, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess he's in the later half.
We've been getting hints or references to him too, right?
Yeah,
he's been mentioned a couple times. Yeah.
But with Wrecker, he seems to be kind of the most oddly like normal with Omega.
Level-headed.
Yeah, because he's like, you can't, like, if you want to hurt the kid, you gotta go through me. Or he's like, oh, she doesn't have a room, I'll make her a room. Whereas the others are kind of weird about it, and he just very quickly accepts it. So I really like that, because it's kind of that, we've talked about where he feels sort of like kind of the goofiest comic relief one, but he also oddly feels the most like emotionally mature about that, because even Hunter, who's very much kind of been treated as kind of the guardian of her, he's super awkward with her.
Yeah. Well, so you guys can maybe fill me in a little bit on this, because I don't know if there's backstory on this or not, but it seems like for the most part, Hunter, Echo, and Tech have modified or heightened intelligence, and Wrecker seems like he's just he's Mick from Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter, his like modifications are heightened senses, and then it also, like, they don't explicitly say this, but I assume kind of tactical awareness and that sort of thing, because he is the de facto leader. Tech has always been like the smartest one, and then Echo is basically part computer droid at this point.
Yeah, like Hunter feels kind of like Captain America in a way, like heightened senses, heightened physical skills, stuff like that.
Or more like Bucky.
Yeah, a little more Bucky, actually.
Yeah, I kind of see that. That's something I know we talked about this last week, but I'm still a little disappointed that we didn't get to see Echo kind of act like a droid.
Yeah.
Like we saw that he was unhappy with having to.
I mean, that whole thing was hilarious. But
it was great.
Even more.
Yeah, I just think it would have been really fun if we had seen him just like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Fine. Just to get whatever it was that he was going for.
Yeah. I definitely liked it, because it felt like the first kind of bit of personality that we saw with Echo. Like the fact that he was so offended at the price was hilarious.
That was hysterical. No, and I agree, Josh. I liked it, but I would have liked more of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of Echo right now as a character.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see more of him, like an Echo centered episode, I think. But again, we've got what 11 episodes left.
Yeah, after this.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we got the 1 to 2 more episodes that centered on each of these characters and flesh them out a little bit more.
Sure.
I'm definitely expecting the Rex episode to have some good, solid Echo stuff, because Rex and Echo have known each other since like early Clone Wars.
They go back a ways, yeah.
So again, moving into tonight, I'm assuming we're going to be following up with the with Crosshair, like maybe seeing him pop back up again. The cloners, I'm expecting them to maybe pop up, because I mean, I guess it's just their side, like what the side that Crosshair is on encompasses all of that Empire stuff. But I don't know where that's gonna go. Like, I don't even have like a guess. Yeah.
Well, it's very cool, because especially with the Kaminoans, it's really open-ended. Because like we know that the clones essentially got kind of phased out after a while with the stormtroopers, but we don't really know what happens with the Kaminoans, other than obviously they lost their main like customer.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be fun watching what they're doing, because I know I think it was like maybe in the second episode that we had talked about this. I think they're definitely up to something, and looking to stay relevant somehow.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Omega is definitely part of that.
Yeah, I almost feel like it seems like she's the like I feel like they're the ones who hired Fennec, maybe through a middleman like Jabba the Hutt or something, but it definitely feels like their way of staying relevant is enhanced clones, because it's beyond simply, well, our clones are trained, whereas your recruits need training. This needs to be something where it's like, well, this clone has something you can't just randomly find with someone that you've like recruited or forced to be a soldier. These are like specialty, essentially purchases that you can't get in any other situation. So I think that's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm kind of hoping we essentially see almost like the destruction of the Kaminoans, where they kind of try and fight back at some point.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, or whatever it is that they're doing ends up being to their detriment. Not necessarily the Empire coming in and being like, we see what you're doing, but just whatever they're doing backfires completely and ends up just like they end up destroying themselves. I just really want to know who Omega was cloned from, because
Me too.
We haven't gotten any hints about who that could be.
Nothing. No.
And you almost have to think it might, like you were saying, be their like plan might be to their detriment, because other than Crosshair, who had probably the least amount of modifications, none of the other like heightened clones are really controlled by the chip. So if they're working with clones like that, then maybe they can't be controlled. And we've seen if they can't be controlled, they're not going to do the Empire's bidding, because it's not something that they're okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to hop over to the chat for just a second here. Thank you again, all of you guys in there, for joining us. We've got Tester Cantlon, Illuminerdi, of course, who looks like he's falling asleep behind the camera there. Donnie Pearson is in the chat, and Toku Kid just joined us. Toku Kid says that he wonders if Omega is an enhanced clone or the start of the Clone Force projects that continue through Mando and the newest trilogy, because Omega looks like Palpatine to him a little bit.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about that possibility, and I know there have been a lot of people saying that they think Omega is Force sensitive, and that's why she's like super intuitive or could pick up the blaster and use it right away. And I think that's an interesting direction to go in, and it's not like, it makes sense. It's not like it's coming out of nowhere. It feels a little bit, it's kind of that moment of, we know in Mandalorian they're using Grogu, the child's midichlorians. So if this is Force related, then how does it fail? Is it simply that they can't get Omega back and then it kind of blows up in their face? Because if this is tied all the way to the Palpatine stuff that happens in Rise of Skywalker, they're basically making it that the setup is like decades worth of storytelling that we've just been unaware of this entire time.
And I mean, that would be an interesting place to go with it, since we know that he was continuously cloning himself and somehow imbuing his essence into these new clone bodies. If she is the beginning of that research, it could sort of retroactively make Rise of Skywalker better once they actually explain all of that.
I mean, I hope so, because
you kind of have to wonder. Yeah, you kind of have to wonder if Dave Filoni wants to like really get into that, though, because he's he's pretty good at having a clear picture, where the sequel trilogy obviously didn't. I mean, I think J.J. Abrams even was like asked about it this week and just gave the most weird, ridiculous answer ever.
Well, it was a weird, like, contradictory thing too, because he was like, "Oh, well, it would have been great if we had a plan, but sometimes when you have a plan, it doesn't work out the way you want it to, and then that ends up being bad too. But if you have a plan, sometimes that can work out well. But if you don't have it, like it would just like kept like going back and forth. Like it to me, it felt like they didn't have a plan from movie to, like, not necessarily they didn't have a plan for each individual movie, but they didn't have a plan for the 3 movies overall.
Yeah, they didn't see it as like a continuous arc. All I could think when he was giving that answer is I was like, you did Lost. Remember how everyone was pissed about that ending because it didn't make sense? And you brought that into Star Wars and we're like, it'll be fine. It'll work out.
Wow. He did do Lost. I didn't even think about that.
To be fair to him, though, he was really only involved mostly with the first season. After that, it was Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. So I put most of that blame on them.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about blame for Lost. I'm talking about recognizing the thing that pissed people off about
Well,
Lost
yeah,
and not
yeah.
bringing it into Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of who, like, J.J. Abrams is like the mystery box guy. Like
He
him
really
and
is.
him and Brad Bird, like really, really have that down. But
Yeah.
but if they wanted to give Brad Bird a Star Wars movie, I would be all for that. 'Cause-
Brad Bird made The Incredibles. He can just about do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Tomorrowland. Like I don't think
I did
Tomorrowland was
too.
it wasn't a great movie, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
No,
Yeah.
totally. Like that's one of those movies that you kind of, it's in the back of your head as a Disney movie, and then it comes up, and you're like, oh yeah, that was fun. I remember that.
Yeah. No,
like,
Brad Bird knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So Toku back in the chat again. He says, I do see Bad Batch going down one of three routes, I think that's supposed to say. They die getting Omega safe, they get subjugated into Death Troopers, or maybe hidden away for another season by the Kaminoans.
I don't know if we're gonna get that in the first season. I feel like by the end of the season, I wouldn't be shocked if they had essentially like brought Crosshair back into the fold. Because I definitely think that they have multiple seasons planned out. I don't think this is a one and done.
For sure.
So I don't necessarily see that happening with the first season. I could see them maybe dying down the line, but then again, like Clone Wars, you knew it had to happen because it happens in Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
But I don't know. I always kind of go back to, like, don't get me wrong, this is definitely a little bit more, like, certain pieces of this feel a little bit more mature than Clone Wars or Rebels, but at the same time, you kind of have that thought of, this is to a degree for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like they're not going to have some, like, horrifying death for these main characters because of that.
Yeah, it's interesting because this show is one of the shows that proves that just because something is targeting kids doesn't mean that it needs to be kiddie.
Yeah,
for sure.
Clone Wars is weirdly kind of the same way. I'd say it's a little more immature than this, but like when you take a step back, you're like, that's a war show. That's a show about a war for like 3 years that just is targeted at children.
Well, especially in later seasons, they get into some dark stuff in Clone Wars. I mean, like the earlier seasons, like especially that first movie was, I think, really more geared toward kids, obviously.
Yeah.
But later on, like seasons 4 through 7 or so, there's some adult material in there.
And they get around it by having it be that they're fighting droids, but
they
kill a lot of them every episode.
They kill a lot of droids.
They're violent about it. They're like, I'll just like decapitate and slice a bunch of these in half. It's droids, so it's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
It's fine.
The fifth episode is up. I don't have an episode title yet. I do have a thumbnail that looks like the dude that I had put onto the thumbnail from last week for our show.
This is Rampage. The Batch strikes a deal to take on a mission. So we're getting the mercenary.
All right.
And that's the monster we were talking about last week from Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah. The one that Luke was fighting.
Yeah, the Rancor.
Right, I think Rancor. Yeah.
With the guy who was very sad when the Rancor died.
That's one of my favorite things. They legitimately comfort this guy.
They do.
He's like crying, and they give him like basically a side hug and walk him away. And Luke's basically saying, "They're like, sorry, I murdered your pet because it was trying to eat me."
Right.
You know,
yeah.
You can't keep your animal on a leash, then you don't deserve to keep him. So, Medardo Ramirez is asking if we're streaming the Bad Batch. Sort of. So we're not going to be showing it on our stream because if we do, then our stream will get shut down because of copyright stuff. So we don't want to risk having our channel shut down. So we are going to be doing a countdown. Which we will start in just a few moments here. So as long as you have Disney Plus, if you're not able to continue watching with us now, you'll be able to come back and we'll count down to when we're going to hit play and you can follow along with us there. And then, come chat with us at the end about what we actually just watched. So really quick, right before we get into this, last minute predictions. So we know again that they're having their first mercenary mission. What do you think is going to what do you expect to see out of this mission?
I want to see Wrecker win a fight.
Right? You know
We
what I'm
haven't
thinking?
seen that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking too with the whole Rancor thing? Maybe it's time to get some of the Hutts in there. Maybe Jabba.
I was
That'd be
literally
great.
just thinking, what if this is the same Rancor?
Oh my God! Like the same one that dies in episode 6.
Yeah.
I'm down
That-
for that.
That would be pretty cool. That'd be some continuity right there.
Right?
Like
That'd be awesome.
an origin story for the Rancor Keeper.
Right?
Right.
At the end, we see him like take the little baby Rancor, and he's like, "You're mine now," and we're like, "Oh, that's gonna end so poorly for you."
Right? We knew how that ended before me and Caitlin were born.
I'm in. I am.
Oh
sold.
my God.
Like it was like when you start watching Clone Wars, and you're like, "Oh, you're all gonna die." Okay. So glad I'm getting attached to all of you.
Oh God.
You know, it's like was that movie John Dies at the end? It kind of tells you up front what's gonna happen.
Ah. Oh Lord.
All right, well, you guys ready?
I also hope we see like some more bounty hunter stuff. Like you were saying, Jabba. I'm like, give me all the bounty hunters
Yeah.
after these guys.
Oh,
That would
yeah.
be awesome, because Star Wars has badass bounty hunters that we
I
kind
Yeah,
wanna
of
they
see
do.
some. I want to see some IG-88.
yeah.
Right.
Like
Really touch on
Greedo,
that.
the early years.
Yeah, we
Oh,
had
yeah.
Greedo a little bit in Clone Wars, like really briefly, but I would
Right.
love. It was mostly him getting in trouble, so I would love to see him like be
Yeah.
an active bounty hunter that essentially doesn't get in trouble or die. That'd be great.
Plus, he'd be great to get to literally just because he had what 2 minutes in one live action movie before Han killed him.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
dude.
And like Cad Bane, all that stuff. Like they have
For sure.
good bounty hunters that we touch on them a lot in Clone Wars, but we don't really dive into it because I think the storyline that they had planned for that, a couple of those storylines just kind of fell to the wayside. So I would
Yeah.
love if they got incorporated in here, especially because we have like the Bad Batch A being chased and B being mercenaries. Like this is
Definitely.
the perfect place. Give me like the battle royale of bounty hunters.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get queued up here. This episode is 26 minutes, so it's just about the same length that we had last week. So it looks like they're starting to plateau a bit, maybe.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll see where they go from here.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. So everything gets silent all of a sudden.
Right. Yeah. Did a good job on the logo front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, in your opinion, nothing will beat Marvel, but for me, this is pretty freaking cool.
Hey, you know what? I gotta give Star Wars credit for this. This is a good one.
And it's subtle.
Yeah, I may be a little biased towards Marvel, but no, Star Wars does good.
Foreshadowing.
Wow. What is Wrecker lifting?
The droid.
The track android.
Oh my God! Yeah, the trash can droid.
I love that he basically stole this thing to be his like workout.
Wait.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Do you think that's really light for him since he can also curl it?
It's
Yeah.
gotta weigh a few 100 pounds.
Oh, this is a cool looking city.
I was saying, we haven't seen this one before, right?
No, I don't think so.
Doesn't look familiar.
No.
I mean, that's what's cool about Star Wars. They just have kind of an endless supply of planets.
They do, yeah. Plus, if
Kinda
they need
looks
more,
like
they can just come up with new ones.
cyberpunkish.
Mm-hmm. Aw, they're like teaching her how to not die. That's nice.
I still find it interesting that they're wearing the same armor. Like, I know that it's their armor, but
Right.
Maybe paint it.
yeah, you would think that they would realize that they could be
Tracked.
recognized.
I'm a little surprised they haven't like tried to build Omega anything, because like they have the kid as the only one without any sort of protection.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're one to talk.
Oh my god. Yeah, it says you who shared nothing.
That's Sid.
You totally said.
Is that like a Star Wars universe pinball machine? That's awesome.
That would be amazing.
Because there was that Mandalorian one that was in the news like a few weeks ago. Oh, that's cool. The drink thing. It looks like the IG-88 head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when they built IG-88, they talked about it a little bit. They used like the first one back in like Empire or whatever. It was using leftover pieces from the cantina.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I found Sid.
There's Omega with the intuition again.
Mm-hmm.
What's that
clone
flag
trooper
that was in the
helmet?
back?
And there's a helmet on her wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the what, Josh?
The flag or banner.
Oh, yeah.
I don't recognize the symbol that was on it.
Might be the Republic. Or Jedi. I like her. Awesome.
Mhm.
I'm hoping she kind of becomes their contact for jobs.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. There we go.
There's a lot of helmets that she has sitting around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. High five!
Wow.
I love her and Wrecker so much. They high-fived.
Wow.
Aw.
You know, just this is completely irrelevant, but just seeing characters that have hands that look like that, I always have to wonder how they actually get anything done.
Right?
It's like the manual dexterity with just like claws that are that big seems like it would be horrible.
With the 3 fingers or something.
Not only 3 fingers, but just like the nails that are like 4
Yeah.
or 5 inches long.
Right.
That's the second time we've seen Wrecker holding the right side of his head because it's hurt. So
Yeah.
I feel like Wrecker's going to have a chip thing going on.
Oh.
All of these clones were sold.
Mm-hmm.
The Zygerians didn't we see them in Clone Wars? Weren't they the ones that kidnapped all the Togruta?
I would not know.
Yeah, I was asking Richard. I knew you wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Maybe.
It sounds familiar. That's why I'm asking.
Sort of. Yeah, I've been trying to think of if we've heard of them before.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. I just noticed how Echo's helmet like fits with his whole thing.
The Lobot thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They are. I just looked it up. So
Oh,
they're
okay,
the ones
okay.
that we saw in Clone Wars a little bit.
Cool.
I love their backpacks. Have we ever actually seen them grab anything out of them?
I don't think so. Oh my god! Wow.
So this will go wrong, and Omega will have to rush in and save them, right?
Of course. Yeah. Give it about 15 minutes. Yeah.
We're seeing them be the Bad Batch. I'm loving
There
it.
we go. Okay. This is good.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. There we go. Giant snake bug thing.
Echo, that
Ow.
was not quietly.
Ow.
Is that the
Ooh.
thing that Obi-Wan was riding in
I don't think so. No.
whatever
It looks
movie
like
was
similar.
riding
It
an
looked more
animal?
like it could fly.
Hologram speaking Hut tease. That's
Yep.
the job of the Hut.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a Twi'lek, maybe?
Yeah.
The best people that I met 20 minutes ago.
It looks
You know.
like those might be this might be where Omega gets her bow and arrow thing, because we saw some of the Zygarians holding them.
Oh yeah, with that tech.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Good job. I love that he hit as a garbage can.
What are those guys?
The Zygarians.
All right.
Come on, garbage can, activate. Don't you just want to see it have like lasers or something?
Yeah, right. Or just like something to punch the dude in the gut.
Yeah. There's a trap door
Sure.
in a
I'd buy it.
spaceship?
Wow. God, they always just sound so angry.
Yep. They look very feline.
Mm-hmm.
They did, like lion cheetah kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Time for the 10-year-old to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you expect that to be the show? That the 10-year-old is saving the Bad Batch?
We should
mean-
have, honestly.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
that's
I think that's fly.
yeah. Obi-Wan's didn't fly, but
No, his didn't
looked
fly.
somewhat similar.
Yeah, his didn't have wings.
No, but it had like feathers.
Yeah. This one actually kind of looks more like the thing that Jor-El was riding at the beginning of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Kind of. Before Krypton.
Hmm.
Just say what's happening, man.
No, you didn't want to in that situation. They can hear him.
Well, fair enough, yeah. It's like Obi-Wan in episode 2. She seems to be on top of things.
Yeah.
They do look really cat-like.
Yeah.
The Republic is done.
Or like maybe
Whoa.
like goat.
Yeah. It's like a combination.
Hello, Gia.
Look at Echo being like the smart one.
Yeah, right.
I've been
like
playing Outriders recently, and this whole thing here kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Ha!
Damn. Nice shot.
I feel like I've heard this guy's voice.
Yeah.
Sounds Russian.
Well, yeah, that's the accent.
Yeah.
All of the Star Wars characters have like random accents for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, right. Oh God.
It's interesting that Tech has no data on this since Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan faced off against Zygerians. You think that he would have access to that?
Yeah. Good luck.
Woo!
All right.
Come on, girl.
Eh.
Eat all of them.
Yeah, duh.
I'm kind of
Monster
hoping.
fight.
Oh man, I was hoping the Rancor would just like straight up eat that
Grab
thing.
it and like pull a Hulk.
Right? Oh no!
Oh God, that's Mooch.
Yes! Oh, please be the one from Jabba the
That's
Hutt.
great.
Oh my God.
Oh my god, if I'm right about that, I will lose it. That would be amazing. And it was Hutt-Ease, remember?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
literally might be
Wow.
the one. Oh, that's amazing.
That would be amazing, actually. Wow.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous of that dude who's just passed out on the ground right there.
Right?
And we saw Tech speaking another language because that was one of his big things in that. Yeah, I'm liking this. They're feeling more like the Bad Batch.
Feels like they're actually working like a team now.
I like that they're out of their element, though.
It's always a fun aspect.
Just hitting a Zygerian with another Zygerian. Ow.
Yeah, I feel like all of them are going to be friends by the end of this.
Right?
Right.
Oh no, Moochie.
Come on, Moochie.
Come on, Wrecker. Hunter, yeah.
He got cocky.
No, don't run away.
Brought a knife to a whip fight.
I always like the look of surprise when something like that happens.
That's like
Yeah.
some Iron Man 2 stuff right there.
Yeah. I also love, like, they're wearing armor, dude. The whip is not going to be as effective.
Right? It'll do something, but...
Excuse me.
Here we go.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
There
She got
we go.
it.
Okay. All righty. That's cool.
Evil dragon, chill out. Nice.
Wow. Nom, 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 nom.
Oh,
Mushi
yeah.
got a
There we go.
taste.
Wow. Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I was sort of hoping Mushi would get on back and, like, ride it away.
Oh, that would be great.
Come on, Wrecker.
Come on. Win this one.
Ugh.
Throw a rock at it.
There you go.
It's like riding a bull.
Yeah.
You have to break it. It's like slap fighting now.
Oh, Lord. Mm. Mm.
This is amazing.
Wow. Wow.
Wrecker, what a fight!
Nice. Good for him.
We're getting everything we want. Yes!
Yeah, there you go.
This is the Raker from Jabba the Hutt.
Yes.
This is amazing. Now I feel sad that Muchi died.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Now we know why
I
whatever
would
that
cry
was
too.
sad. The pig things are the Gamorrean Guard. Is that what they're called?
I don't remember what they're called. They're like Jabba's guards. I know that.
Mm.
Yeah, Gamorrean.
Mm-hmm. Dark and broody.
It's like 3 out of 4 of them.
Right?
Oh, wow.
All right.
This is the start of her. That's cool.
Wow.
And the Bounty Hunter Guild exists. Nice.
Okay.
That's a yes.
That's something. Yeah, that's not ominous at all. I'm good with secrets, she
I mean,
says.
he helped out the Jedi.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
All right.
I mean,
like,
we know that like a lot of these guys play both sides.
Liam O'Brien. Okay, I knew him. He's from Critical Role.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know that name.
All right.
He was.
Rhea Perlman sounds familiar too.
He did a little bit of stuff on Star Wars Rebels too. Like
the name Leah Perlman sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Was that the Sid one? Because she definitely sounded familiar.
Yes. Yeah, that was Sid. Let me look that up because now I need to know who that is.
Okay, I really like that episode. I think that's like my second favorite because it was fun and it got the plot moving.
Oh, Dana DeVito's wife from Cheers.
Oh, okay.
You know, what's her name? I can't remember her name on Cheers off the top of my head, but yeah, it's
okay. All right.
Know exactly who that is.
Gotcha.
Illuminerdi. Mucci
Like
is
an
a dead
idiot now.
Rancor.
Yeah, that's a shame. So
yeah,
what did we actually get out of this episode? To me, it feels like there was a little bit of plot movement. Something that was introduced last week in what we were calling a filler episode now has become slightly more than that. Now that we know that Fennec is just starting out, that she was hired by someone who is really intent on getting Omega.
And it's a direct payment. It's not through the guild. And I guess does this mean Java is part of the bounty hunter guild? Because that's never been really clear.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe due to the guild that he's in, or the crime, maybe the crime families just have a direct line with them. Just because of who they are.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then it seems like we know like this is super early for Fennec now, just because this is what 25, 30 years before Mando in the timeline, something like that.
Yeah,
and she's Ming-Na Wen's age and that, and yes, she's probably Ming-Na Wen never ages.
And Sid specifically pointed out that she was brand new to the scene, so she's only been doing this for a short amount of time. Which is interesting because of how skilled she actually is. So you kind of wonder what her background was even before this.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we get like a Fennec origin story now.
She's probably like in her 20s or something. So
yeah, I mean we don't know what species she is, but yeah, most likely in the 20s. In the chat, we have JNR Films, who says, I feel like Wrecker's headaches are caused by his chip beginning to take effect. Which,
I do too.
Yeah, Caitlin, you've been saying that for a while now.
Yeah.
I think when he smacked his head during the crash, it did something.
Maybe
and
like
you pointed out, he like at least once an episode we see him like holding his head in that spot. So it really feels like that's foreshadowing something that's going to be coming up later.
He's like the one I want to have be affected by the chip the least.
Yeah, well, he's our favorite, so of course.
Well, he kind of has the most personality.
Yeah,
out of anyone else.
Yeah,
like the other guys they have a personality, but he's the most his personality is the most out there.
Yeah,
most fun for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it comes through in little moments. Like I love that him and Omega high-fived. Like that was just it's so small, but it's so perfect. So like the little things like that, or the fact that when he's fighting the Rancor, like you said, it basically looked like it became a slap fight at the end.
That was amazing. I loved that it became basically a slap fight at the end.
He just had to win. It didn't matter how. He just had to tire the Rancor out.
Exactly, and he won by tiring it out.
Yeah.
If you have Tech being like he's losing his touch, like he's fighting a Rancor, like
you try fighting a giant eating death machine,
right? Like give him a little bit of credit.
Let's love you try to fight that thing, Tech.
JNR, it also seems like is a fan of the high five between Wrecker and Omega.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Sure.
It was just a fun moment, and it's like those moments that like you don't necessarily need to hear dialogue between characters, but just that kind of stuff like really does a lot to build the right relationship between them. Like you don't have to have spoken words, just that
something.
I feel like animated Star Wars does really well at really making sure to incorporate those kind of small moments that just are kind of the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they definitely building these kind of found families is a huge part of Star Wars. So the fact that they were really getting that through small moments, I think is a really good way to build that. Because yes, of course, you have the larger scale moments of them actually taking her in and bringing her, but then making her a room, giving her the comms, trusting her to help save them, all of that stuff. We have big and small moments that really are making it where it's okay, this is becoming kind of a little family unit.
Yeah, well, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Richard.
No, I was gonna say, sometimes those little moments can be even more memorable and impactful than the big moments, because the big moments you expect, the big fight scenes and the giant emotional moments at the end of the episode and everything. But those little ones that you don't see coming, especially kind of hit harder, and they I think they mean a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's facial expressions too. Like when Omega was out there crawling across the rooftops to try and help save them, and you could see how they were reacting to her in their facial expressions, and how it was all right, well, she's already out, so looks like this is gonna happen whether we want it to or not.
Yeah, I love what Echo well, we don't have our gear or anything. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Omega, listen.
Right. That was great. I thought that was very cool, because they had been make sure you go back to the ship, don't use the comms as a toy, and then they're oh, she's our only hope. But instead of being oh, we're all gonna die, which is kind of the expected response, they're all right, I guess this is what we're doing.
So she picked up the bow in this episode.
Yes.
We didn't really see her use it. She just opened it up and then it closed up and she ran off. So do you think we're going to see some training scenes with her learning how to use it, or do you think that we're going to find out that she just kind of has an innate oh, I can shoot this thing, and
I don't know about
one of her
I could
tricks?
see kind of a combination where it's not necessarily them, maybe they try to teach her a little bit, or maybe she just is kind of messing around with it and is really good at it. I could see something like that. I don't know if we're going to get a full on big thing with it. I think it's just going to be kind of okay, well, we're waiting to do something, might as well shoot at the
right, kind of like in A New Hope when Obi-Wan was training Luke with the helmet.
Yeah,
right.
It's just all right, we have time, we don't have anything else going on, so you might as well learn how to use the Force, even though you're too old to train.
Right?
Yeah, I could see her kind of doing it on her own, maybe just messing around with it, kind of go off what Caitlin said. I mean, I can imagine that she'd be really good at it because she's been, really good at most things she's tried so far in the first 5 episodes. But I'm just excited to see her actually
captured.
Including getting captured, yes, including that.
Everyone needs to have a skill that they're good at.
Yeah, everybody needs a thing.
Django Fett is in the chat. Thank you for joining us. And he is asking, where's Crosshair? That is a question I am asking as well. I had thought that this episode we might catch back up with the Empire, since we didn't see them at all in the last episode, but we didn't.
This was the first time we didn't see anything about them other than someone who had been an ally of the Jedi now not having business. That is the most kind of Empire-related thing we saw in this episode.
Yeah. So
sure,
I think I don't want to say it now because I'm going to jinx it, but next week it seems like it's almost going to have to be, because episode 6 is going to be the end of that three episode arc, right?
I mean, this felt like the start of a new arc. So I think either next week or week after is when we're going to have to get back to Crosshair.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would assume, because it felt like last week kind of I don't know, it was sort of a start of an arc, but it almost felt like the episode in between 2 arcs too.
Yeah, maybe like an epilogue to what had happened previously, but also at the same time a little bit of a prologue to what's coming next.
Yeah.
But you're right though. This episode did feel like the beginning of it's a new adventure. This is a new quest for them. Is okay, now you have to go get work so that you can afford to pay things. So let's do that a little bit.
We finally got that.
Yeah. And I did
Yeah.
like it wasn't just we need money; it was we need contacts. I
Mhm.
thought that was really good.
For sure. Yeah, we need people.
Yeah.
So Sid obviously they're going to be a good contact for them, it would appear. That we had that moment right there at the end when she's like, "Oh, I know how to keep secrets," and Hunter was like, "Do you?"
Right? A little ominous.
Is he though?
I'm assuming that she's going to become their contact.
Yeah,
Like
I do too.
it just seems like that's the direction that's going. Like I can't
sure.
imagine that this character like that we would meet this character just as a one-off, and that they're going to
Yeah.
go and have another primary contact for their merc jobs.
That's
I'd be
also-
shocked if she doesn't stick around.
Like that's also like a name. Like they have a name actress voicing her. It's not
Mhm.
some random person.
Right,
Yeah,
for sure.
she actually kind of feels to me a little bit like not necessarily personality wise, but just character type. She kind of feels like Maz Kanata.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. She did kind of give me Maz vibes.
Like I the character wise they're a little bit different.
That'd be cool if they could connect the two though.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
maybe in like a just a circle, or the groups that they travel in.
Yeah, like
maybe.
maybe they send her. Maybe she sends them to a job for Maz. Like that'd be a cool way to do that.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool, yeah.
We also got the Hutts in this episode, which I know
Yeah.
Caitlin, you've been looking forward to. Do you think we're going to see them again, or do you think this was just kind of a like a hey, look, the Hutts are a thing, they exist here?
I think we could see them again, and I think they could they could kind of use the fact that they saved the Rancor to their advantage of like, hey, we helped you out. Maybe you owe us a favor a little bit.
Right? Yeah. I can see that happening. I'm also now excited that we know that the name of the Rancor is Muchi.
Right? I like totally.
That completely changes.
Episode 6.
Return of the Jedi. It's just like
Wow. That gives Return of the Jedi a whole new spin.
yeah.
When I threw that out there before the episode started, that was just like a random thing. I was like, "There's no way that's true, though." So the fact that that is just mind-boggling to me.
Good call on that. You did say you'd be shocked if it actually came true.
I'm like, "There's no way this is true." I have to say it because it's just so ridiculous. And I was like, "Oh my god,
Right?
what is happening?"
It actually happened.
We saw a younger Bib Fortuna,
Mhm.
who looked real. Like I liked the character design that they went with him, because he looked like himself from the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
But younger. His face was a little bit more angular.
Yeah.
But that's
The tail
the,
thing on
that's
his
the
head looked a
animation
little
style.
shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Leku are a little shorter. Yeah, that's kind of the animation style. Is a little more weirdly rounder, but also angular. Oddly,
Yeah,
like I
it's a
don't know how
weird
to
combo.
describe it because it really is kind of both.
It is both.
Yeah, well, it's like in like the early early animated comic book cartoons. Every one of those cartoons had that like barrel chest look to it.
The Torpedo look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this feels kind of similar to that, where like everyone doesn't look exactly the same, but they all have similar
Facial
like all
structure.
all of the sentient beings, I guess, bipedal beings,
Right.
have similar body features.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, I love when like the Star Wars stuff connects and like where it's that kind of full circle moment. So the fact that
Mhm.
they're continuing to do that is awesome. And the fact that they're doing it with something that's so random is hilarious, because this is
Yeah.
one where it's like if this had just been a random Rancor, it would have been fine. It wouldn't have
Right.
made any real difference. This is just kind of that added like, oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny. That's so cool that like Dave Filoni really excels at because he worked with George Lucas for so long.
It wouldn't have taken away anything if it wasn't the same Rancor from
Right.
episode 6, but it adds so much
Mhm.
that because of the fact that it was. Exactly.
Are
And
you a
that's
little
kind of
disappointed we didn't see the Rancor like owner or handler being the one to bring him back? I'm
Right.
a little disappointed.
Yeah,
that would be great. If instead of the I'm pretty sure I'm right with the pink face guys were the good
You
morning
were.
guard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So like I think if instead of them showing up with him, if it had been the keeper who had showed up and just been like, oh my god, you found him.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Runs over and hugs her.
That would be great. Yeah,
That'd be great.
Again, though, that would have just made the rankers end just that much more sad now.
I know, like I've never
Seriously.
been upset about it, and now I'm like, next time I watch Return of the Jedi, I'm just gonna be heartbroken when that
Right?
happens.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so sad.
Right.
Yeah, anything else in this episode stand out to you guys? Was there there wasn't anything here that I was like, oh, this is dumb. Like
Yeah.
this was a really solid episode. But did any aspects stand out to you? Anything foreshadowed or any Easter eggs or anything that you saw that maybe we didn't pick up immediately?
Can I just say Wrecker using the droid as weights was amazing.
Every time.
Wrecker continues to be he's like turning into one of my favorite characters in the entire Star Wars lore. Real quickly.
We haven't seen the droid be anything other than weights.
That's a great
we
point,
saw
actually.
Trash can tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did go full trash can.
Which that was very funny, but we haven't seen it do anything like specifically droid-like, where it's like,
right.
Oh, so it's useful for this too.
It's just there,
and that's all I want to know is what those things are good for. Like,
right?
are they just walking trash cans, or do they actually do something?
Like, what does that droid do?
Yeah, we saw one in Rebels that was essentially they said it was a spy. Essentially, it had data that they used, but we didn't really see it do anything other than make sounds and walk and jump around. So I'm really hoping that that's why I was like, is he have a laser beam? Or are we gonna see a flamethrower? Come on, give me something. Show your
flamethrower would be amazing. Right? I really hope it has a flamethrower now.
Screens.
Yeah.
Right. Opens the trash door and just fog comes out of it. So Django brings up an interesting question here for you guys. He says that we need to see Max Rebo show up in the Bad Batch. I would be totally down for that. But are there any one-off random characters that you guys would like to see pop up in a cameo, similar to how we saw Bib Fortuna tonight, or the Rancor? Just like
Ben.
Yeah, I mean, so many of the kind of Clone Wars characters that either pop up
would you want Cad Bane as just a random cameo that does absolutely nothing except shows up in an episode, or would you actually want to see a story with them?
I think random cameo for me would be Hondo.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Because he feels like the most easy kind of one-off where it's still going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
But I don't need a huge arc with him. It's more of he shows up, they either do a job for him, or he kind of shows up and messes up one of their jobs. Something along those lines would work really well and be funny. Maybe IG-88.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't a big storyline, but it was kind of just seeing IG-88 would be very funny.
Yeah. I was just thinking totally randomly. I don't know how they would fit in, but maybe 3PO and R2 at some point.
They've gotta. They've been in every
just randomly doing something somewhere.
Exactly. Because we don't really know what happened in the between the end of episode 3, where the series is covering between episodes 3 and 4. They end up on the
Bail
Organa.
They're on they had their with
we know Bail Organa has
memory wipes as 3PO.
3PO, yeah, and we see them a little bit in Rebels several times. 3PO.
Wasn't there a Droids cartoon, a new Droids cartoon too?
There's supposed to be something coming out with them, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
But we see 3PO messing things up, of course, because he's 3PO.
Of course.
So I would love to see that. He pops up and just reports, because he does things he reports people to the Empire.
Yeah.
You're why?
Oh Lord, that'd be great.
So
that would be very funny.
Sorry. In the chat here, Shay popped in with some information on the Rancor from Jabba's palace.
Okay.
So the Rancor that was in Jabba's palace that we saw in episode 6 was actually called Bautista. It was kept as a pet by Jabba the Hutt in a pit below the palace court, to which he fed any who displeased him. The beast was killed by Luke Skywalker, after which its human handler could be seen mourning its death. So unless Moochie is just a nickname, which is very possible because Moochie does not sound like a proper name.
Like a name, yeah.
No.
Then
it could also be that Moochie's the mom.
Yeah, that's
could
very
be
possible.
Could be Mama Rancor.
J&R Films chimed in with wanting to see Captain Ethano making another appearance in something Star Wars related. I don't think I know who that character is.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah. Doesn't ring a bell automatically for me. Oh, here we go. Shay, Bautista was also male and was a gift to Jabba.
Oh, maybe it's Mushi's mate.
That could make sense. Yeah, for sure. That could make sense.
That'd be interesting. I kind of want to see Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
That'd be cool.
In the barbecue?
Yeah. It's like going out to dinner. Complaining about whatever.
Lord.
It's so hot.
God. Well, we're gonna see them in Obi-Wan, so
or like traveling to Tashi Station and just like bitching about it the entire way.
Pick up some power converters.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, so it looks like this guy, Captain Ethano, is more from the sequel trilogy. If I'm reading this right. But it also looks like they popped up in, I think, a book or comic with about Count Dooku. So they're a pirate, basically.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
But yeah,
okay. So J&R Film says he was the red guy that offered Finn passage in TFA on Jakku.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Like the sequel version.
Yeah.
Of Boba.
Yeah.
That's a totally fair comparison. Because Boba in the original, like nothing really happens with him. He's just cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I was like, just like random people that were in the scum and the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yeah.
Just like the guy with the devil head. It's like, okay, who is this dude? Where is he from?
Right.
I rewatching that cantina scene. It's insane how many of those aliens are like written into the shows and stuff now.
Yeah.
Because you have to think when they made it, they were really just throwing stuff together.
Yeah. They couldn't have had any idea like how big this thing would get when they were making episode 4.
Right? Because like I was watching that and I was like, oh, we saw them in Clone Wars, or like the Devil one. It's like, oh, we saw him Mandalorian. Like you can you can point out where you've seen all these guys. And it's like you have to wonder if they were like, oh, okay, so that's the design I'm working with. All right, like I'm sure the designs were thought out and everything, but you also have to wonder if they kind of threw them together a little bit because they were like, we're not going to see these guys again.
Like I can imagine. Maybe the original trilogy was in the works for a little while, like episode 4 through 6. And I'm sure George Lucas had, whatever in his mind, God knows how long ago. But I mean, actually seeing it all come to life on screen and then having them mean something 30, 40 years later.
Well, I mean, if the first one hadn't hit big, we wouldn't have Star Wars like universe,
At one point, wasn't it like the highest grossing film ever or something like when it came out?
Maybe.
I have a feeling it was.
So. Yeah. So, okay. So we are quickly approaching 1 a.m. here. Before we wrap out for the night, let's get some predictions for next week. Again, I'm going to revert back to seeing what's going on over on Kamino with the Empire and Crosshair and the Kaminoans and learning maybe a little bit more about why they're after Omega. Or what they were doing and how they created her. But I don't think we're going to actually find out exactly what that is until later on towards the end of the season. If we find it out this season. Yeah.
Episode 6, all the answers are revealed.
Yeah, here you go.
Oh yeah.
Right. We're answering everything. And now we're asking like 30 new ones.
Right.
Hey, this one brought a lot of info actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Richard, predictions for next week. What do you got?
I mean, that Fennec tease at the end has to mean something. I'm betting we might see her, if not next week, then like probably a couple weeks from now for sure.
Yeah.
I hope we see them take more jobs like this. I mean, Sid seems like they'll pop up at some point, pretty soon again as their contact. And I just hope we learn some more about Omega too, because like we didn't get a ton on her this episode. I mean, she was great, but hopefully we'll get more info on her soon.
Yeah.
Caitlin?
I'm liking that we're seeing the Bad Batch actually finally kind of figure out their footing. I'm liking that. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy that they are not really able to figure out exactly what they're doing because it's not what they're used to. But I like that we're really kind of getting them starting to feel like the Bad Batch again. So I want more of that. And if that's through mercenary missions, awesome. And then, yeah, more Crosshair. I wouldn't mind checking back in with like Saw Gerrera and the Rebellion or some other corner of the Rebellion, because I expected that to kind of be a one-off, and the fact that we're actually have had it come up again to me is like, okay, cool. So we're going to see the Empire grow and also see like sprinkles of the Rebellion. So that's something I would be really interested in seeing again.
Yeah. And my last thing is, I love, like you were saying, Caitlin, I love seeing them actually work as a team this episode, because this seemed like, I mean, it wasn't a ton, but it seemed like this is the most they've worked together since the first episode. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, this felt like the Bad Batch, and we haven't really had it feel like the Bad Batch since Order 66, really.
For sure.
Thinking about what's going on with Sid a little bit more now, I actually think she might be blackmailing them now.
Really?
Yeah, because she knows that Fennec Shan is after them, and that she was hired by someone directly, who is paying good money to track them down, and she made it very clear that she was really good at keeping secrets, and that they would be good at working together. So in another context, that kind of seemed like, listen, if you don't continue to work for me and do these jobs for me, maybe I won't be so good at keeping your secret. But I'll keep paying you.
What if it's hinting at her maybe being, like, because she worked with the Jedi, and her being good at keeping secrets, maybe she's someone that, like, Obi-Wan went to after the fall of the Republic. Like, maybe she's kind of the contact for some of the Jedi that are in hiding. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
She could pop up in a
completely different direction. She's telling the truth. I mean, that's very possible as well.
I'd love it to see someone that A, is actually like a friendly to them, since that feels like a rarity. And B, like seeing someone that did work for the Jedi and has a little bit of that, okay, I have a little bit of like, not even necessarily trust, but like a little bit of respect for you because of your ties to the Jedi. That is something we don't see a huge amount of, because I mean, the Jedi basically get erased from history by the time we get to the original trilogy, where everyone's like,
that's a feat in itself.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, those mythological space wizards that didn't really exist. So someone that's
20 years earlier.
So someone that's like, oh no, I worked with the Jedi, they trusted me, and you were clearly people that worked with the Jedi, so yeah, maybe I'll have a little bit of like a soft spot. That I would love, because we so rarely see people, unless they're just straight up rebellion fighters, we so rarely see people that are like, oh yeah, the Jedi were great.
What if they're setting up Sid maybe for like an appearance in Obi-Wan? Like
cool.
You're saying, she could be a good contact for him, you know, as he's doing the whole exile thing on Tatooine. So, like, I mean, obviously this is the first we've seen of her, so we have no idea, but they could be setting her up for that down the road next year.
I've definitely felt like Bad Batch is the perfect place to really lay the groundwork for a lot of these shows, because you can like Fennec Shan, obviously, and if Boba Fett pops up, you're kind of laying the groundwork for some of the like Book of Boba Fett. We're assuming Ahsoka's going to show up because it's a Dave Filoni show, so if that happens, you can lay groundwork for Ahsoka. There were rumors of Bo-Katan showing up, so again, Mandalorian. So it really feels like they can use this show, A, with the world building of the Empire, and B, like, okay, we're going to kind of fill in what was going on in the world of Star Wars, but also what was going on with these characters that you're going to revisit soon.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's gonna do it for us for this week. Before we head out, though, let's do some plugs. We got tons of stuff coming up this weekend. Tomorrow, Friday, we don't really have anything going on, but on Saturday we've got our 2 Ranger shows: the regular Ranger wrap up and the retro Ranger wrap up, followed by the Riker maneuver, where Jamie and I will be discussing Star Trek Enterprise. I believe we're on episode 25. You can check out. It's already scheduled up there, so you can see that in our upcoming live stream section. On Sunday, Richard and Caitlin, you guys will be back with It's All Connected. The new time for that is 1:00. Is that right?
1 o'clock Pacific. Yep.
1 o'clock. What are you guys talking about this week? I hope it's the Zack Snyder, Stephen Colbert dark and gritty late show. Because that was amazing.
We might have to
probably.
touch on that.
That was absolutely amazing.
Well, there's we got a ton of Marvel and DC stuff.
We have the Eternals trailer.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that trailer. We got Denai Guerrera's coming back for a Black Panther project. We won't be able to talk about it this Sunday, but I am writing up 2 Marvel exclusives this weekend that we'll be able to tease for this show after next week, which I can't wait to share with you guys. That was what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. So
that is exciting. Earlier in the morning before you guys go on, I believe at noon, Bryce and Blackwing and I want to say Bryn will be live with the Retro Sentai wrap up. Really quick, I'm gonna cut myself off there. We have Draw Wing. I think that's right. Yep, that's right. He just joined us. I said, so glad to find a group that's discussing episode 5. He just came in. What did you think of that ending linking the Bad Batch to Jabba's Rancor?
We thought it was amazing.
It was so much fun.
Shay,
if you scroll up in the chat a little bit, he actually gave us a little bit of background on who the Rancor actually was that was in Jabba's palace at the time of episode 6. Not who we thought it was, but there has to be a connection there. Like there's no way that this was just like a completely random Rancor that didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, you'll stick around, maybe rewind and check out what we had to say on the rest of the episode. Join us again next Thursday when we're discussing episode 6, which, again, we won't have a title for until next week.
You probably never will
at some time later.
Right?
I don't know what other fandoms you're into, but we got tons of stuff coming up over the weekend. Again, I kind of went over that just a minute ago, but Power Rangers, Star Trek,
Marvel, DC,
other Tokusatsu stuff, more Star Wars, pretty much everything that's going on. I don't know how long they live. Do we know how long Rancors live?
Good question.
I have no idea.
That's a really good question.
When Luke Skywalker's around.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that almost nobody in the Star Wars universe actually lives to like their expected life expectancy. Just
other than Yoda.
Yeah. Other than Yoda.
Yeah.
Yoda was just so done with everything. He's just like, all right, I'm out.
Yoda's my favorite death, like in anything ever, is he gets asked the question he doesn't want to deal with, and he goes, "Time to die." It rolls over.
Just goes,
That's amazing.
Nope.
If you want to follow us on social media, feel free. We can keep the conversation going. You can find all of us at our social media handles, which should be like somewhere down here beneath us. I think I think my name has been covering my face for a little bit because I got out of my framing here a little bit. You can also follow the Illuminerdi on Twitter at @the_Illuminerdi or on the web at theilluminerdi.com. Again, tons of fun stuff coming your way, and we will see you guys next week.
Yep.
Illuminerdi out.